Daylight saving time, man. It's weird. It's been a few days. I'm still out of it. Still haven't adjusted. It's crazy because as a kid, daylight saving time was nothing. I just adjusted to it within a day. Now it's like I don't even know what time it is or anything. Same thing with drinking. I used to drink a whole lot and wake up and just bounce right into my day. And now, like, I have like one beer and I have a hangover. Oh, the joys of getting older. Let's get on with the shave, shall we? Another Texas soap. You know how much I enjoy my Texas soaps. This is another sample that I got from Maggard's Razor, and it is Kells. Am I saying it correctly? It is in reference to a old, I won't say ancient, but an old religious document. I know that most of Murphy and McNeil is the maker of this soap, and I know that most of their labels kind of have a Celtic theme, so maybe that's why I'm saying Kells with my best Scottish accent that I can. It's horrible. Sorry I'm butchering that. But anyways, Kells. Now it kind of top note is bergamot. Let me peel a little divider off here. But the I'll get it in a second. I'll do it off camera. I can still smell it, but it is more or less a duplicate of Sauvage, the cologne. You've seen the ads with Johnny Depp. Anyways, yeah, that's the soap that I'm using for today. Of course, I'll be mixing that up in my timeless black bowl. Now, the brush that I'm going to use today, I haven't used this in a little while. It is a very cheap Omega boar brush. Hoon Shaver, who I mention him all the time in South Korea, he posted just the other day that he was having some issues with his boar brushes, or just natural brushes in general, whether it's boar or badger, getting a good thick lather, that it's kind of been thinning out. And I've watched his videos, and it's kind of coming through thin. He bowl lathers. He's one of the dog bowl, kind of softer, collapsible travel dog bowls, and then, puts it on his face after that. And I have noticed, that it's coming through kind of thin. So I'm going to give him some tips, hopefully, that'll kind of help that. I'll get that soaking. I'm going to use my Yaqi. It's the Melon head. It's the double open cone. Very mild razor, but haven't used it in a while. Very heavy. I think it's got a brass handle. And that's the razor that I'll be using. I've got a Persona Platinum Chrome blade, also known as Persona Red. It comes in the red packaging. That was another item that was sent to me by Todd from Take Care Man. And then I'm going to finish everything off with Nieva Deep. I use this occasionally. It's got a nice light, almost kind of sweet scent. I just got this at the local drugstore. It was like $5. The scent doesn't last very long, but I feel like it pairs kind of nicely with this cologne style soap that I'll be using. So let's go ahead and switch over cameras, and you can see the top down look for when I bowl lather, and then after that, then we'll come back up and we'll do the shave. Hang on. So there we go. I've got the soap pressed down into my bowl there. Kells, gosh, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Kells or Kells by Murphy and McNeil, company out of Texas. You can see I've got a little bit of water on top of it here to kind of soften it up, although it doesn't need much softening. It's already a very, very soft soap, like a crope. I know that's a popular term, a mix of cream and soap, and that's what I would definitely say. It's pretty thin kind of consistency there. So I've got my boar brush here. It has been soaking. I'm going to start, I kind of work it off the walls, the sides there of this bowl, and then of course start to lather. And I do really like the scent on this. It's kind of a cologne. It's not kind of, it is a cologne. Like I said, it's meant to smell similar to Sauvage. My wife used to work at Macy's. She worked she was like a manager in the cosmetics department, so she worked a lot with fragrances, both men's and women's. So she is kind of a fan of the cologne scented soaps. I know I've got also another sample that I'll be using in a video soon. Declaration Grooming Sellout, which is Aventus by Creed. Maybe I'll try that next. I'll kind of keep up with the theme of cologne-based scents, soap scents. This does smell good. I'm going to lift it up. Oh yeah, it's kind of a light scent, and it even says, or medium scent rather, and that's what it kind of says on their website, that this is medium scent. Based out of kind of Dallas-Fort Worth area. Murphy and McNeil. This is the first time I've used their soap. It looks beautiful. Looks like it's really coming together. It's not half bad. I'll give it just one more minute, and then we'll bring it up to the face. I think that will work. Yeah, we'll go with that. See you up top. Okay, you can see that definitely whipped up very nice here in my bowl. I've got less than 24 hours growth. I wish I'd done the video yesterday. I needed to shave really bad, but I hadn't shaved in a couple days, and it was pretty thick. But now it looks a lot more manageable. But I still could use a shave this morning. So some big news: we bought a house, or at least we've started the process of buying a house. We looked at a house, my wife and I, and we liked it. We made an offer, and it was accepted. So that's cool. We've got the inspection actually in a couple of days. Assuming it passes inspection, then we should be good to go. I've already done my pre-shave with my scentless glycerin Neutrogena bar. I've already soaked my brush. I did this before. I did it in the bowl, but of course I wanted to show off my Texas mug since I'm doing a Texas soap. So here it is. Here's the soap in my bowl, and this is to kind of help out Hoon Shaver in South Korea, or at least this is just kind of my method. So you saw I just wet my face a bit, and I try to get quite a bit loaded up. I put a ton on there before I start spreading it around. There's another decent amount that I put on there. I'm basically scooping it out of the bowl and putting it on my face. My long hair. So at least that works for me. Just even though this is a boar brush, whether you're using boar, badger, just really load it up. Put a ton on the brush and then transfer that all to your face. Yes, this house we bought, the way the market is right now, basically between looking at it, which we were only able to look at it once, we made an offer the next day and it was accepted the next day. So the whole process was only like 48 hours. Crazy. Pretty excited. I've got a ping pong table that's just been sitting in our garage. It was given to us by a friend. I just haven't had the room really to set it up, and I think I've got the space at this new place. It is bigger than what we're in right now. We needed a bigger place because my parents are planning on spending summers with us. They live in Texas. They live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Sorry, I'm making a mess here. But they are tired of the Texas heat in the summers, so they're going to come up and spend summers with us. Plus, they want to see their granddaughters. Sorry, this brush is still shedding quite a bit. I've only used it about a dozen times. It still sheds. Yes, my parents want to see their granddaughters a bit more. And I don't blame them. They're pretty cute kids. When I mentioned daylight saving time earlier, daylight saving time is weird. A lot of states, I should say, there's people that have their opinion. But there are, I shouldn't just say states, regions that don't switch. Arizona, I think, doesn't switch. To daylight saving time. I know there's a couple of Canadian people that either follow my page or we chat some. Is that always the case in Canada? Do you guys do daylight saving time? And notice I'm really emphasizing saving. It's not daylight savings, it's saving. There's a lot of myths to why we do daylight saving time. Maybe not myths, but more just like reasons why people believe we do it. Started in World War II, I believe. And it was basically to kind of lengthen the day. I mean, does it change the day, but it gives more evening hours so people would conserve energy a bit more, electricity. Some of the other reasons I've heard people mention why they think that we do the daylight saving time. One is for kids, especially up north. If it wasn't for, well, see, if there wasn't daylight saving time, they would go to school and it would be light early in the day. By switching, it's dark when they're riding to school a lot of times. Like I know, now. What used to be 6 a.m. is now 7 a.m. If we didn't go back to standard time, then the sun wouldn't even come up till like 9 in the morning up north. So in standard time, the kids go to school and it's not as dark. But another hypothesis was that it was for farmers, and so the farmers could work later into the evening. But I've known farmers, it doesn't matter what the clock says, they're going to work from sun up to sundown. You could make daytime in the middle of the night. They're going to work when the sun is up. The clock itself doesn't matter. Time is relative. There's also a hypothesis that it was for drivers, that when they drive home from work and whatnot, in the evening there were a lot of crashes because of sun being in people's eyes. So they're like, if we change the hours, then the sun will be at a different angle in the sky. There weren't that many cars during World War II. Quite a few afterwards. But also, it depends on where you live in the country. If you live way far north, Wisconsin like me, it's going to be a different sun angle than, say, somebody down in Texas. So, no. It was basically to conserve energy during World War II, instead of people burning electricity, light bulbs and whatnot, earlier in the evening. By extending sunlight, they can not turn on those light bulbs till an hour later. But there's a lot of pushback. People are very opinionated about their daylight saving time. I like it. I like the late evenings. But yeah, like getting up in the morning and it's still dark out. It's not the greatest. But far up north, even in daylight saving time, as we approach the summer solstice in June, sun comes up at like 4:30 in the morning. So it'd come up at like 3:30 if we didn't switch to daylight saving time. So there you go. There's another argument. Make it longer into the night, because as you move further north, the sun would be coming up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. So there's a million reasons why, but the technical reason was to conserve energy during World War II. So there you go. History lesson. Again, pretty big load. So yeah, this house, really excited. It's near a golf course. The wife and I both really love playing golf. Ooh, real quick, I wanted to mention, do you see right here, this kind of red spot? I've got one over here too. It's because I have sleep apnea and I sleep with a mask, and I probably suction it down a little too hard. But if you've ever wondered what those like red spots are on either side, gosh, if any of you guys out there, or ladies, sorry to go on this tangent, but if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're tired throughout the day, if your partner tells you that you're snoring a lot, or even like gasping, because that's what I was doing, I was going, I wasn't getting enough air, go get a sleep test, go get checked. It has changed my life. I used to have low energy, I used to be tired all the time, I wasn't sleeping well. I have extreme sleep apnea. And part of that's from being overweight, but also kind of just hereditary. My mom has sleep apnea. Go get checked. Go get checked to see if you have sleep apnea, I would say. Because it has changed my life. I love my sleep mask. A CPAP machine. You put that on, and I just sleep like a baby. I use it when I nap. It's great. Okay. I'll go back to that house. Yeah, it's on a golf course, near a golf course. And it's got a nice basement. That's where I'm going to put that ping pong table. I'm not going to lie. When I was looking at the house, I was looking at the bathrooms, and I'm like, which of these bathrooms can I shoot shaving videos in? So I was scoping that out. Doesn't have much of a yard, and that kind of concerned my wife and I. We were like, well, what are the girls going to play in? But it has enough of a yard. Plus, it'll get us out to the park, which we do now. I mean, the apartment we live in now doesn't have much of a yard. This is my 5th and final use of this blade, but it's still doing great. I could go longer, but I'm not. Todd sent me a 5-pack of the Persona Red or the Persona Platinum Chrome. I had not used a Persona blade in years. My very first sample pack that I ever got of blades, like 6 years ago, I looked back at a picture I took of it, and it had Persona Platinum Chrome. Yeah, sorry, this has a ton of bristles coming off. It's a $10 Omega boar. I'm looking at getting a new boar. Some people have recommended Zenith. They can be pricey. They start at about $40, not bad, but then they can get over $100, but they're cool looking. So I might check that out. In total, we looked at, I think, 4 houses other than the one we bought. Yeah, 4 houses other than the one we bought. Our realtor, every time we looked at a new house, my first question was, is it haunted? Finally, she was like, are you for real when you asked me that? And I'm like, you know. I jokingly say I don't have time for the supernatural. I've had a couple of encounters that I feel I may have had a connection to the other side. Both times in Arkansas. I used to live in Arkansas, and there was a very old cemetery I was in from like the 1800s, and I got a really weird vibe in that cemetery. And there's also a thing called the Gurdon Light. Gurdon. Gurdon. It's in a town called Gurdon. It is a light that appears on the railroad tracks. And I have seen it a couple of times. It's creepy. There are hypothesi to what it is. Some people believe it's swamp gas because you are kind of out in like the bayou or a swamp. Some people believe it's like a reflection somehow of like cars driving over the railroad tracks like a mile away, like the reflection onto the tracks. The Gurdon Light. I know there's like a light that appears in Wisconsin, somewhere like far up north, almost like the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and they have determined that it's headlights reflecting off of something on the ground. I like the idea of like ghosts and the supernatural. Aliens especially, big fan of aliens. But I just don't know. I don't know if we've got those things. I feel like there's probably a scientific explanation for everything. The house was built in 1988, so it's not that old as far as being haunted. Unless it was built on an old cemetery, and they only moved the headstones and not the graves themselves. You ever seen Poltergeist? That's the whole premise of Poltergeist. They're here. That's the famous line. It's from Little Girl too. Hopefully my little girl never releases anything that creepy. Deep Nieva, deep aftershave splash. Not bad. I like that soap. It performs really well. A nice medium to light scent, not overpowering. I don't feel like I just doused myself in Sauvage, but it had a nice, pleasant scent. Okay, I'm ready to start my day, even though I have no idea what time it is. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll have another soap sample in my next video that should come up soon. Thanks so much.